Welcome to Poppa Paints. Hello, I'm Poppa, and this is Poppa Paints. And today I'm going to paint this landscape and show you how I did it using acrylic paint on a canvas. This is an 11 by 14 canvas. And this is one painting of many that I plan to do between now and November. Right now it's May 29th. And in November there is an auction at my church, and they will raise money for poor families who don't have a Christmas, and also for children who need one thing or another. Anyway, they sell the paintings at the auction and the money goes to the church, and it's my way of contributing to people, to anybody. Getting an original piece of art is usually something people are happy with, so that's why I'm doing this. And I'm not saying you should do that. I'm just here to paint. I am not considering myself an expert or a teacher, or I'm actually retired from radio. I did radio shows for 30 something years, 34, 35, 36. I can't remember if it was 36 or 30, I don't know. It was 30 something years. I did radio shows. And I always did art, like off on the side, but never as a living. And so now that I'm retired, Robin and I go to church on Sunday with Robin's mom, who is 92 years old, by the way. And I don't have much I can give, but I can do this. So that's why I do these. And right now I'm going to show you how I did this landscape. Good morning. I got a couple of big brushes here today. I think I'm going to do an easy landscape. I've selected some colors, so I'm using basically green. So there's actual green from a tube, but there's also blue and yellow, which will become green. And then there's, that's raw umber, and that's yellow ochre. So yellow ochre and blue will be green. This is Payne's gray. Payne's gray and yellow will be a green shade, so they're all greens. And there's of course some white just to have it so it can lighten things up. And I did not pre-paint my canvas today. I'm just gonna start with some white, which you won't be able to see until I add some blue to it. I want to get some white on the canvas first, just to give it something to bounce off of. And I'm going to do a landscape where the horizon is about there, about 2/3 of the way down. So I'm gonna, lots of white in there. Yeah, today's another early day. It's 4:16 in the morning on Thursday, May 29th. Wow, the month is almost over. It's almost June. And this is Florida. I'm talking to you from Florida. And in Florida, hurricane season starts June 1st. Now that doesn't mean there's going to be a hurricane June 1st. And when hurricane season ends, it doesn't mean there won't be a hurricane. There could be a hurricane anytime, but the meteorologists have designated June 1st through, I can't remember how far it goes. But yeah, it's definitely something that you have to be aware of in Florida, is that there are hurricanes here. And it's just like California. You have to be aware that there are earthquakes. And in most of the middle of the states, you have to think about tornadoes. So there's always a weather something somewhere. There's always something that can happen from the weather. And really any of them can happen anywhere. So, just the way God made the world. Think about Jupiter. They got a storm that's been going on for centuries, right? Isn't that big red spot on Jupiter, isn't that a storm? That's what they say. Don't. You can argue with me a lot because I don't know much about it, so I can't hold myself in a debate about the storms on Jupiter. Yeah, I think I would lose that debate. Yeah, pretty sure I would not win that debate. Anyway, so yeah, just having a good time painting a pretty landscape. I don't know, just felt like doing a landscape. I don't know if you heard me in other videos, but I'm trying to do as many paintings as I can before November so that I can donate them to the church that I go to, which is called St. John's Lutheran Church. And I want to do that. I want to do these paintings so that I can donate them so they can sell them at an auction. And I know in the past I've probably told you that paintings should sell for $3. Well, you should price them at $3 a square inch. You can I'm going to add a little bit of orange to this, I think, just a touch. Just a little drop. Just a drop, come on. Give me a drop. That's good enough. Just want to mix that in there. Let me get a clean brush. Let me do that with a clean brush. Yeah, so what was I saying now? Oh gosh, I lost my train of thought. But the art auction, was that what I was talking about? I think so. The art auction is in November. And so I want to get as many paintings done by then as possible so that they can raise money for the kids. Gosh, this isn't even a hard subject today. It's very easy, and I'm still distracted by my own painting. I'm just trying to get this mixed in here. Orange and, like, you know, like a morning sunrise. So the kids at the church, they go on these trips and they give money to the poor, and they have these things for Christmas for kids who don't have anything, and there's a whole bunch of things that they raise money for. So I don't really have any money. Oh, I know what I was starting to tell you. That paintings, if you price your paintings at $3 a square inch and use that as a beginning, a starting point for when you're negotiating with potential buyers of your art. But at an auction for a church, it never goes for that much. It's always much less. And that's okay. Nobody's going to complain. I'm not going to complain. I'm doing them for fun anyway. You know, it is kind of my way of having fun. Old men just want to have fun. Let me take the other brush out of here now. Now it's got a lot of water in it. Oh my gosh. Let's see how this works out. Alright, it's not too bad. Let me get some more white. Put it on there. Put it right on there. Just put it right on the... Yeah, I like the whole impasto thing. I like the idea of thick paint. Now see the problem with the problem I have with muddying up the blue with the orange. It's not really what I want, but that's what I got. It's not what I want, but it's what I got. I was talking about happy accidents yesterday. That's a Bob Ross term, you know. And it's a great term because they're a happy accident. There are things you don't plan on doing, and then they just come out looking nice. So that's what I'm hoping happens here. There we go. Just a happy. Let me add some more white to my palette. So yeah, today's an early day. It's, what I say, 4:25 now. And we got to go to Gainesville this morning. All right, let's get some of this Payne's Gray here. I think that's, gosh, which one's Payne's Gray? That one? Yeah, that one's Payne's Gray. All right, let me get some Payne's Gray. Lighten it up with the paint that's already on there. Just put some background, some horizon stuff. You know what they say? They say keep it simple. And when I say they, I mean they. Because I don't know who they are. When you use the expression they, and you mean like just anonymous groups of people or anonymous experts. The anonymous experts say, oh, that's a great one. I should say that more often. You know what the anonymous experts say? That's a very weak argument, isn't it? To tell people. Like if you're having a disagreement with somebody and you're debating them, and then you want to throw out some kind of a fact that you just don't have any way of supporting it. It's just you're making it up or whatever. You can say, anonymous experts agree. That would be a funny line, wouldn't it? Will it be true? Anonymous expert? Well, no, it wouldn't be true. You're making it up, so. Okay, well, there's our background. Or distant trees. How about that, huh? All right, now let me get a different brush so I don't mess up too bad. Here's a nice one. All right, let me get some yellow right here. I'm gonna put some yellow right there. And then I'm gonna put some green on there so that it looks green. But I want it to be yellowed. I want it to be all kind of washed out. All right, now there's my green from the tube. So let me put it in there. Whoa, that's really too green. I don't want it that green. Let me get some more yellow to that. Keep it very, very thick. You haven't patted in there. There we go. Let's put a few more just areas here. Just kind of make it up as we go along. We'll use some more of this Payne's Gray to Payne's Gray and yellow. Well, Payne's Gray and yellow ochre maybe. But we can always add stuff to it. What is that one? Well, that must be the raw umber, but I'm having a hard time differentiating between the two. Get some more green in there. Kind of making a mess here if I think about it. If you timed yourself and you said, I want to paint a picture in 15 minutes. Wow, that would be a tough challenge, I think. You know what I was admiring yesterday? It was on the side of a truck, and it was artwork that was done with one line. Have you ever done that where you just take the pen And you just, hold on, let me move this so I can get it back in the frame. You take a pen and you just do like one line. You never lift the pen off of the paper. Oh, we should do that one time. I should do that here on Poppa Paints. I've done that a lot in my past. It's just a fun little exercise where you just don't even lift the pen. Okay. Get some trees in there. I like the idea of not necessarily parallel lines. I like them, they're a little bit offset. Just keeping it a little bit interesting. Just keeping it interesting. That's what I want to do. We'll come back to this. The other day I was watching some videos from a guy named Michael Iceberg. Years ago, Michael Iceberg used to be a performer, a musician at Walt Disney World. And I loved his music. He was always in the Tomorrowland Terrace, if you're familiar with Disney World. And he was on this stage that would rise like an elevator. And then he would come out with his iceberg machine, I think is what he called it. And what it was a grouping of synthesizers. Now this is in 1970 something. I don't know, 70 what? Maybe 77. I'm going to say, or 78. But he was really a fabulous musician. I just loved listening to him. I mean, everybody else would always be amazed at his instrument because it was synthetic at that time. It was a new thing, you know. Keyboards that could make sounds of horns, and of course those are commonplace nowadays. But everybody would always comment on that. But for me, what I liked about Michael Iceberg was his musicianship. He was very, very, very good. So I was watching a video to see if I could find him, like today. What's he doing today? And I think it said he was 83 years old today. I don't mean today, like today's his birthday. I mean, he's 83 now. So, what a wonderful musician he was, and is. And he had this beautiful song called Fanfare. And I love that song. And it says, in his song, he says, "At last there's a plan for me." Or at last there's a prayer for me. Somebody really cares for me. It's a really beautiful song, a beautiful sentiment if you think about it. So, I don't know why I'm telling you that. I just wanted to share that with you. I think he was great. He is great. Yeah, he would come up out of that elevator stage, just pop up there and play some beautiful music. And he did a lot of course, the Disney music, the Electrical Parade, and the songs that you're familiar with from Disney. But he had his own songs too. And one time, years later, I actually heard his music. You know how when you were waiting in a movie theater for the movie to start, and they were just playing music? Well, I heard his song Fanfare. And that was here in Florida, so I don't know if he had a friend or a family member who worked in that theater, or if he worked in that theater maybe, and he was plugging his own music in there. I don't know. But anyway, just good stuff. Very good stuff. Get some more dark areas in here before I start adding light areas. Yes, Impressionism is exactly what this is. When you do big, gigantic brushstrokes like this, it is Impressionism. Or it could be abstract if you think about it. It's odd for me to always come up with a label for something, but isn't that what people want? People want you to label things. What do you call that? They always want to know, what do you call that style? And then if you become famous as an artist or a musician, then they'll compare everybody to you, because they'll say, oh, that sounds like Eddie Van Halen, or that sounds like the Beatles, or that sounds like Willie Nelson. Well, this is all just rough anyway. Right now I'm just kind of trying to muddy it up a little bit before I put some more bright parts in there. I'm pretty much just using Payne's Gray now. Let me see if I can add some yellow to the edges here. And then maybe come back with some more darks. blue in there. I'm gonna get some blue down here, just light blue. Squeeze it in there. Little pieces of light here and there, maybe some in there. It's kind of like making music in a way. Yeah, I guess you would call this a simple landscape. Let's get some, let's get a different brush now. This might be a good brush right here. Put some yellow in the background here. Get some lines in here that look like foreground grass where the light is hitting it, you know. Keep adding some light to here. I want the light to be bright. So mixing white with yellow and exaggerating it a little bit. let's go ahead and try to put some trees in here now. There we go. Over here, of course, we need some. Bring it all the way to the top. Here we go. You've probably seen me do this same thing before. It's kind of fun to do it. These little white dots just represent, you know, little wildflowers growing in this field here. So this will be one of the paintings that I donate to the church, as I mentioned earlier, and it'll earn some money for the programs that the church does, where they help feed the hungry and they help send children to camps that, you know, they couldn't get to otherwise. And the people who buy the paintings are not, you know, not usually well-to-do. They're just normal people. I don't know what I would say, any other way to say it, but just people trying to do a good thing and get some pretty art to put in their homes. And in a way, it's a nice thing, because if they went to an actual art gallery, they wouldn't be able to afford most of the art there. Most of the people. Some of them would. You know, there are some people with money in the church, but most of the time it's not. And I love hearing from them, like after they've purchased a painting, they'll come up to me and they'll say, "Oh, I got one of your paintings in my living room." And that just makes me feel good, you know, because I know it doesn't matter what they paid for it. I don't get the money anyway. It goes to the church, but I get money for the prints. I don't want to make you think I don't make any money from this. I do. Absolutely, I do. But it's from the prints, not from the originals. You know what? I think it's done. I think I'm going to stop. Alright, well, there's my simple, impressionistic, acrylic landscape. And I have to stop anyway, because it's 5 o'clock and I have to go. So thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.